Hey, it's James Nicholson. I hope you're well. And today I want to talk to you about something that I've done today. It's an experience that really opens your mind if you do something like this. And some of you will agree with this video, some of you will think it's a bit strange. But I've just been to Kwang, which is the Bangkok Hilton, which is the prison in Thailand, in Bangkok, where people are on death row. And I did this 15 years ago now. Back in 2003, I went to visit a guy called Nathan, and we had a really in-depth chat about life and about why he was on death row and what happened. And for me, at the time, I was backpacking, and it just opened up my mind a lot. It got me thinking about what the world is really like and how things can change in an instant for you. Your life can change in an instant. Now, the first guy I saw 15 years ago, he had a family member that was ill, or his son in fact, and he was unable to afford treatment. He was actually a Malaysian guy, although he was in a Thai prison, and he basically got offered an opportunity to smuggle some heroin to Thailand, and in return he would have enough money and some change to be able to treat his child and look after his family. Now, the guy was clearly a very poor guy, and clearly it was a bad decision. I'm not condoning what he did, but when I went in, I wasn't sure initially how I would feel. I wasn't sure whether I'd feel sorry for him or feel that he deserved to be where he was, but I believed this story when I was there, and I think it was very genuine and very sincere. He didn't deny that he took the drugs. He admitted that he took those drugs across the border from Malaysia to Thailand and got caught, and he understood that the consequences would be the death penalty. He knew that all along. He knew the risks he was taking, but he was trying to do something for his family. And we're very fortunate in the Western world to have healthcare and stuff like that is affordable, and we can get support and help from people when we need it, but that's not the same everywhere else. And today, when I went to Kwang, I met a British guy called Gary, and it's very strange when you go to Kwang. It's very hard to get there. You can't really get a taxi there, so you have to get a boat. You have to get these long boats that you might have seen in Thailand, and you have to basically go really far out. It's right on the edge of Bangkok. I think it's called Nathamberi. And you get the long boat out there, and then you go into a building opposite the prison. You have to take your passport. You have to surrender your passport. I mean, trust me, when you give your passport up, when you walk into a prison like that, that's pretty scary. But you give them your passport, and you have to take off your belt, you have to take off your shoes, you have to take off any metal, and then you walk across to the prison. And when you walk across with the guards, it was just me actually at the time. Sometimes, last time I did it, there was about 3 or 4 people visiting, but at the time I went today, maybe people had visited already. But you walk across with the guards, you feel like you're going into the prison yourself. You are going into the prison, but you feel like you're one of the inmates because they're following you behind. And you walk in, you go and see the guards, and they tell you to sit down. Now, last time I took some treats for the guy that I originally saw 15 years ago, but I know that you don't do that now. So last time even, I took some treats, and they got a knife out in front of me last time and stabbed the biscuits. It's very clear in my mind. I can literally picture it like it was just happened yesterday. So I didn't do that this time. I just sat there and waited, and originally used to go into sit on a long wooden bench with hundreds of other people shouting across this like almost like a corridor with guards walking up and down, so you couldn't touch the people. This time it's slightly different actually. There's you're sitting in a room, but you have like those telephones like you see in American prison dramas and stuff like that, where you talk on one of those. And yeah, it's interesting. The guy that I met, British guy, he was at a full moon party, so he's not old at all. I think he's about 25 years old, and he had some drugs at a full moon party, which lots of people have done. I'm not into drugs myself, but I know I've been to the full moon party. I've seen a lot of people there are on drugs, and he had all his mates' drugs, is what he said, and so they classed him as a dealer, and now he's on death row for that, which is really, really awful. So the reason I went, and why I went, and why I probably would go again, it's not something I would do on a regular basis, but I think in periods in your life it's important to open your mind and just see what life's really like, because you get caught in a bubble. And the reason I went was to give that guy some support, to have a chat with him and try and ease his day a little bit, because as you can imagine, being in a prison is awful. There's like 20 people should be in a cell, but there's actually 40, and there's no beds. You just sleep on the floor. The food is fish heads soup every day. So if you don't have family or a charity that gives you rice, you don't get fed. So I made sure I gave some money to make sure he got some rice on the way out. But it's a really hard life. But seeing that environment is a wake-up call, and for me it was really interesting. Really interesting to get back in there and just realise that your life is so short. So maybe in your business or personal life or whatever it is that you do, you don't get unlimited chances. Yeah, you have a limited amount of opportunities. So seize everything that you have with both hands. Live for today. Do what you want to do. Don't live by other people's terms. Don't let people hold you back. If you want to start a business and you haven't done it, start it. You never know what's going to happen tomorrow. You could have a mistake. Surely you're not going to end up there, but you could have something that comes up that stops you doing that in future, stops you living the dream that you want. So that's why I went, and it opens my eyes every time I go there. Last time was just before I started a business. It got me inspired to realise that I just needed to be brave. I needed to start my initial business, the iPod accessory business, and started it within a year of going to the prison originally. So I think for me, the next year now will, because I've done that, I'll think back to that. When I'm stopping myself doing stuff, I will think back to the guy that I saw today, and I'll think, why am I stopping myself? Why am I not doing this? Because other people don't have the opportunities that I have. They don't have the opportunities that you have. So you should too be pushing yourself forward. So bit of a different message today. I just thought I'd share that with you. Some of you might find it interesting. Some of you might find it totally weird and wacky that I'd even consider doing such a thing. That's fine. Whatever your opinion, that's fine. I value your opinion either way. But any questions or comments, post them below, and I'll respond to all of them. Give us some likes and some hearts for these videos, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye for now.